Hi, Constance.
Hey, how you doing, Tanya?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for coming.
I'm so honored to be here. Thank you for having me.
Stop it. Stop it.
Seriously, this is
I
definitely
receive
an
you
honor.
coming. I really, really do. I just want to welcome everybody. Welcome everybody to Purpose, Passion, and Prosperity. Are you ready for this journey? You know, Constance, I'm so grateful that when I met you, 5 years ago in Barcelona, she was living it up, y'all. She was like giving it to us all which a way, she came in there, had teaching us all kinds of new stuff to do. So, and I was just grateful to have the opportunity to meet her. Then when I heard she had her own real estate company, the first Black woman in California to do that, I was like, oh shit, watch out now, watch out. But let me just read her bio so that you can really know who we talking to, so she can get all the deets on her. Okay, we got Constance Carter, a dynamic force of nature and true wealth activist, stands as a trailblazer and historic achievements in various domains. Founder of California's largest independent African-American owned real estate firm, best-selling author, TEDx speaker. I like that. Google that shit. With nearly 500,000 views, savvy canvas investor, seasoned residential and commercial real estate investor, and Constance is an industry maven. Beyond her professional accolades, Constance is a motivational speaker and a transformational coach dedicated to empowering individuals, especially women of color, to reach their full potential and attain wealth. Her life's work, rooted in the belief wealth is a birthright attainable by all, goes far beyond transactions, expanding to coaching and training programs. Wow. I don't even know what to say.
Cut it out if you don't stop it right now. If you don't stop it right now.
I try to start out because I just want people to get to know who you are. So I ask some silly questions up front. For example,
I'm ready.
What's your sign?
A Pisces.
A Pisces.
Yes, ma'am.
March or February?
February.
February.
February 23rd.
Okay, so it's coming up next Friday. Look at me. Oh, stop it.
Getting older and older.
Being blessed and blessed.
Amen. Amen.
And you are February 23rd, a Pisces. You have how many kids?
I have 4 children.
4.
Yes.
And what are their ages?
24, 19, 17, and 15.
Okay.
Yes, my daughter is 24, and then I have 3 boys.
3 boys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so who's the easiest to raise?
You know what? So nobody has ever asked me that question. When my daughter was a teenager, people used to be like, oh, you got a teenager. My daughter has been really awesome. She's never given me no problems. And my boys, they're generally, what they do behind my back is one thing. And they get on my nerves. They're trifling and they're lazy and disgusting. Like before I left, I was like, you clean this disgusting bathroom up. But they're also like super dope, and we just have a good time. It's I'm recently divorced, so it's the 4 of us, and all we do is just laugh and have a good time and have fun all the time. So I haven't really had no issues. They've been really, really amazing.
That's awesome.
I'm blessed.
That's blessed.
Knock on wood, because
right.
Because I don't take it for granted that they're good kids, because you just don't know what'll happen when they go out into the world and all that. So I don't say that like cockily, right? I don't say that like, I say that in a way from a very humble place, because I'm blessed now. They've been great. My middle son had a bit of a transition when we moved out this way. When I decided to make the move to the East Coast from the West Coast, my middle son had a little bit of a transitional period. He didn't do well in school. Now he's a senior. Now he's feeling it. But you know what he did tell me? Like he was having anxiety, because he stayed for a little bit. Okay. He stayed for a little bit because he had basketball. He had his friends.
So you say he stayed in California?
He stayed in California for a little bit. And so he then got in trouble because he was out there, doing the most. Mm-hmm. And I was like, got him, because I really wanted him to be with me. Mm-hmm. I really wanted my kids to be with me. So I was like, yo, you got to come out here with me. And I only left him behind for 2 months. But when we got here, he just didn't care about nothing. He just let his grades go and everything. And about 2 months ago, he said, you know what, Mom? Thank you. He said, it really gave me a moment, a chance to really be, because he didn't have no friends. He just kind of stayed in. He didn't try. He didn't do nothing. But he said it gave me a moment to do a lot of self-reflection. And I've never had an opportunity to self-reflect before, ever. And he was like, so I thank you. And I'm a thug. I told you I'm a thug. But in that moment,
You didn't let it go though.
I did. I had a little crocodile tear that came down a little bit. Yeah. So my kids could definitely make me go there. So that was probably the only, little kind of roughness that I had. And trust me, I would wake up, and because I felt him, and I would wake up and I'd be like, did I do the right thing? Did I make the right decision? Even with the divorce, I should have just thugged it out and just stayed until the kids got, grown, because then maybe he would have been happy, and maybe, and so there was a lot of me second guessing and questioning myself, because he was so miserable. But when he said, because I remember we were going to take his senior pictures. This was in November. No, this was in December. And he was like, no, thank you. And I was like, little Oprah. It was kind of Oprah ugly cry. It was kind of, I will admit it. I did. I let it go. I did let it go.
So, let me ask you that.
I did.
What I think is amazing in that story is that he, at a young age, was able to do some self-discovery, some reflection on who he is at this moment in his life. And a lot of kids don't even have the wherewithal to think to do that. Yeah.
He's a thinker. I have one son. My oldest son is a talker. He used to be. He tells me everything. Like, he used to be like, and so the second one under him, he used to be like, will you please just be quiet so I can think? So he's a thinker, but I think that I was always very intentional about things like that, about being self-aware, about looking internally, about self-discovery. So I've always taught them this. All of them are very expressive except for that last one. That last one, I'm still trying to figure out what the heck is going on in that mind. I'm still trying to figure him out. But all of them, they speak freely about whatever it is on their mind, and I'm grateful for that. My daughter, too much. I mean, we're besties. Like, we kick it. We do. The oldest son has always been, he used to ask me, sex questions. He didn't care. Mom, what's oral sex? He would ask me anything. Right. The other ones are very, very embarrassed, but he asked me everything. And so we developed that relationship where he calls me every day, telling me about girls. And, one of the things he said, if I can go there, one of the things he said a couple months ago, he said, Mom, when I went to college, you taught me, because I taught my kids to be gentlemen. I taught them to open doors for women. You taught me to be a gentleman. And I was trying to be a gentleman to everybody, but I realized that everybody ain't worth me being a gentleman to. These girls is mean, and I'm trying to be a gentleman, and I'm trying to treat them like ladies. And he's like, Mom, everybody's not nice. I didn't know that. And I'm like, but no, that. He was like, Mom, you don't know. You ain't been nowhere. He think I ain't really. you ain't been around. You didn't go to college.
You need to get out.
Yeah. Everybody ain't nice. And I said, but you know what, son? It don't matter what they are. You do what you supposed to do. Just know how to move. You ain't gotta. Everybody ain't gotta be treated like a queen, but you don't be disrespectful. So that's very important.
I get that.
Yeah.
So I love that your kids, you taught them to have self-discovery.
Yeah.
Thank you. Because that really worries me. Like, I've seen so many kids that are just wandering.
Yeah.
And it's a hard thing to look at.
I also thank TikTok.
Really?
Yeah, they own that 24/7, and I think also they're exposed to so much information, which is not good. So they have a lot of information, but they don't have a lot of, say, integration. They don't have a lot of social skills too. So I was looking, I think right before my son went back to school, he had bought a shadow work journal.
Nice.
What you doing with this? I mean, learn on TikTok. So it's little things like that I think that they probably learn some of that stuff online too. I imagine. But yeah, of course there's that reinforcement, and I'm not a big I don't do a whole lot of yelling, which I wish I did, because my house would be a lot cleaner. I wish I had the capacity to just yell all the time, but I don't. So, I just kind of talk to him and we engage that way. So it's, you know, I think it's received a lot better because, you know, we just talk.
Right.
And we laugh and, you know, all that stuff. So, yeah.
Nice. So tell me, who are you, Constance Carter?
Outside of being a mom?
Outside of being a mom.
I'm a lover of people.
Okay.
The problem with that, though, I think, is that my therapist said everybody can't come to the penthouse. She said, Constance, everybody can't come to the penthouse. Some of them have to go to the third floor. Some of them have to go to the lobby. Some of them got to go to the basement, right? The problem is I let everybody in, right? So with that, you know, which is not good because I don't have that protective mechanism. I just love everybody until they do me dirty, and then they're dead to me. And then it's like, forget you, forgot you, never thought about you. I'm not harboring. I don't care, but I just, like, it's just over. Yeah. But I admire people who could be more like, they observe people more and then they let them in. I'm not that person.
Okay.
And so even moving to a new place, somebody told me, like, my therapist was like, you just got to be very, very careful. Be open like you are, but don't be as, you know, be friendly, but don't be as open because you do too much. And I think that part is, you know, I love people. I just enjoy hanging out with people. Right. I just came from the Maxwell cruise a couple days ago.
Okay.
I went by myself. I don't meet no strangers. I'm going to a concert tonight. I'll probably find a bestie sitting next to me. I don't know. You know, everywhere I go, I just, you know, I enjoy people. So I just love people. That's who I am.
That's a gift, though.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. You know what? So I took the Gallup's top 5 strengths. You ever seen the Gallup's, the strengths assessment? Mm-hmm. And like, while I want my strengths to be like strategic and like all the focus and all that like stuff, my strengths are like woo. I'm like, what the hell is woo? Winning others over. You know, it's relator, it's connectedness. Those are my strengths. I want my strengths to be like smart, but they're really about, you know, being more people, engaging people. So
when I hear you say that, God wants us to live in community.
Yeah.
To be interrelated, to be in touch with each other.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, there are many studies done that when people don't interact with people, they either get sick, they don't live long. The whole thing about the babies, they left the babies without any love and care, and they didn't grow right. So actually, I think I would rather have the gift of being able to connect with people, because I can always find someone around me to be strategic.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I already have the gift to connect with people, so I can find everybody I need.
I love that.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think you should be proud of it. Yeah. Actually,
I just want to be. I just admire smart people. You know, I'm not the ideation person, so I'm an executor, but I'm not the person who has the great ideas, and you know, so. Yeah, you know, you just admire things that you don't have. You know,
I received that, and being an executor is awesome because usually an idea person can't execute.
That's true. That's true. Right. There's a lot of people with bright ideas that been sitting on brilliant $1 billion ideas, and they just go to the grave with them. So you're right about that. Yeah,
got it. So what do you think your purpose is?
You know, it changes, right? So. When I was just started out in my business, and my purpose has always been to help people in some capacity, right? So when I first started in real estate, I did real estate very different, and that's the reason why my business grew the way it did, is because I was more transformational rather than being transactional. It wasn't about the sale for me; it was about who I could help. It was about whose lives can be transformed by their being able to, you know, purchase homes. And so I always taught, you know, generational wealth, which was a new concept to people at the time, which I didn't realize. But it was really about not only, in real estate, it's about sales. Mm-hmm. Call 100 people, make 10 appointments, you close one deal. And I would look at that person. Okay, let me help you. Then let me help your mama. Then let me help your auntie, your cousin, them, and everybody else. Let's get the whole family holistically, you know, building wealth. Mm-hmm. that's been my purpose, is helping people. I've transitioned that, since I moved, I still have the company. I built the largest Black-owned real estate firm in California, have a mortgage company still. I have a small team now since I've transitioned. And so now I'm coaching Black women. I did a TED Talk, what you mentioned, Google that shit.
Right.
And it was really about closing the wealth gap. There was a study that said in 2017, there was a Forbes article that said by the year 2053, Black median wealth was going to be a 0. And my thesis was that I don't believe that. They done fucked around and gave us the internet. You might want to believe that. They done messed around and gave us the internet. Right. So now there's no stopping us. Like, we have access to everything. We ain't got to depend on them for nothing. We can do whatever we want to do. So, we have more power in the palm of our hands with our phones than they had when they put the man on the moon.
Exactly.
You can build a business, $1 million business,
right on your
from your fingertips, right? So, so for me, it transitioned to Black women because I really love us. And so now I'm coaching Black women. There's a African proverb that says, when you teach a man, you teach an individual. But when you teach a woman, you teach a nation. And so for me, my contribution to closing the wealth gap is through Black women. That's my passion and my purpose right now, is helping Black women.
I received that.
So I do a cohort called the Net 7 Collective, where I'm helping Black women from all over the country. We have women from 25, 24 to 80, from people who are just starting out as entrepreneurs to Harvard PhDs, all just women. And the great thing about this, so it's not about Constance, and it's not about like what I teach them, because I teach them things. It's about the collective and what they're able to share with each other, because they all have experiences. So I'll say my gift, because 90% of the people who work for me were Black women. I took the framework and what I created in this great, amazing business, because it was an amazing real estate firm. Like, they still are like, please come back. And I'm like, I'm on something different.
Right.
It was great while I was there, but now I have another purpose. But I took that framework and I created this sort of synergy with these women to let them know that they all have a purpose, and there's you might be a Harvard PhD, you might be just starting out as an entrepreneur, but nobody is more important than the other, and they felt that. So I would say my genius in it all is creating the culture, the synergy, right? To make everyone feel as though they're important, and make them feel inspired and empowered to motivate one another, to share with one another, to be accountable to one another, to win with one another, to celebrate one another.
Yes.
That's my genius. I brought in, there's some certain things that I'm experts at, but
Right.
my genius is also knowing that I'm not an expert in everything.
Right.
And I've made some really great, really smart, really successful friends over the years. I bring them in and they teach them as well. And so, that's what the culture is. And it's been beautiful. It's been totally awesome so far. So I'm on my 3rd cohort, which is getting ready to start next week.
Okay.
And the goal really was, to help at least 100 Black women to increase their net worth by $1 million.
Very cool.
So if they're at $1 million, we're gonna get them 2. You know what I mean?
Got
so
it.
if they're at, because what I've seen is most people's net worth is negative. They have more liabilities than they have assets. Let's turn that around. So let me get you to 0.
Yeah, exactly.
And then let's
That's
get
to me.
to $1 million. And
Right.
here's the skill sets that I'm going to show you in order to get there. So I'm showing them all kind of things. So these ladies are investing in real estate, investing in hotels. They motivational speaking. They are coaches. They are killing it. And just me sitting on the front row and seeing it, it's everything.
I receive it. It's worth more than anything they could
I'm trying
pay
to tell
right?
you, yeah,
Right?
yeah. In my business, in my real estate business, doing that with the people who work for me, there was a lady, and God rest her soul, she died a couple years ago. But when I first got started in real estate, I'm brand new. I go to this company, I go to Prudential, and I go sit down with all the top producers. And I want to know what you guys did in order to, build your businesses. So one of the ladies that I sat down with, she ended up working for me later on. She was an older white lady, and she was a top producer at every company that she worked for. But she says, I've made more money with you than I've made with anybody else. because of the motivation, because of the opportunities, because of what I gave to them, the tools, all that stuff. I showed them how to work smarter, not harder, all of those things. That right there, sitting on the front row and seeing these people say this, being able to help people create these massive businesses, that's been amazing for me too. So, it's my life has just been, full of great things, even, going through the divorce and all that stuff, I haven't had I've never been unhappy in my life. I've had bad experiences, but I've never been unhappy. So I'm grateful for those experiences for sure.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So if someone wanted to come to your curriculum, right? What is it that, like, what you start with? What is the first thing you start with? Like, what's the first thing that you teach your people when they come in the door?
Wealth is a holistic experience. It's not just about the money, because I can show you how to get the money. You can lose the money, you never get it again. But I show you how to get it and keep it. I show you the mindset that it takes in order to get there, to keep it. So we do a lot of mindset. It's mindset, is, personal development, it's professional development, it's all of those things. So I teach them how to, set goals. I teach them how to visualize. We do visualization exercises. I teach them how to breathe. I teach them all of those things, because these are all the things that I do.
Right.
I just teach them the stuff that I know that's helped me along the way.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So what would you say right now in your life you're passionate about?
I'm most passionate about?
Same thing?
Yeah, helping people.
Okay.
And my kids.
Okay.
And living life. I was married for 162 years.
Only?
That's it.
Okay.
And but so now me being single and just enjoying, like, on my own terms, it's just been great. I'm passionate about life. Life is so dope. I wake up and I don't know, you know what, Tanya? I feel like my spirit, like, called me here to this place. It's weird, but I was an insomniac probably for 10 years. And I just noticed about 6 months ago, I've been sleeping every night since I've been here. Oh my God. You know what I mean? My soul has been at peace. And I have not been that in forever. You remember when we were in Barcelona with Lisa. Lisa was a freaking,
Yes.
Lisa Nichols. She was a vampire. I'd be up with her. We didn't sleep. So to be able to sleep, it's been a beautiful thing.
So what do you think happened when you came east versus when you were in California, when you couldn't sleep at all? You just going, and your mind is at rest for some reason.
I don't know. I think this is where my spirit was calling me to. I really believe that.
Okay.
And there's been a lot of deja vu moments since I've been here. And some visualizations. Like, I remember I was just sharing this with my daughter the other day. I've not shared this with anybody, but I was I think it was a few years ago. It was my birthday, and I went out of town with my ex-husband. We weren't even together, but we went to. I wasn't doing nothing. I was like, "You want to go to Monterey?" All right, we go to Monterey. And Monterey, there's a 17-mile drive, and we went on a 17-mile drive. And I just had this vision of me, like, being somewhere on the East Coast. Hadn't even thought about moving to the East Coast, but me being, and in my mind, it was like New York or something. I don't know.
In front of you.
Huh?
It
flashed in front of me, right? Mm-hmm. I'm at this table with all these really smart, intellectually stimulating conversations, and we're just, engaging, and it was like great. And I looked over at him, and I was like, yeah, I can't get back with this. And I've had so many of those moments since I've been here, and it was just like, I remember having that vision, like so I don't know, something was calling me here. Something just put my spirit at rest when I got here. And it's been awesome.
That's good. So you've come here, you've opened up a whole new curriculum for women to be their best selves, the Net 7.
Yes.
So what else are you doing besides that? Is that just it? I know you're raising your kids and everything.
Yeah. No, I still have the real estate company, so I still do a little bit of business, not that much. I wasn't selling homes, for years. I had people who worked for me, but I sold few homes. People back in California, like my pastor called me. He was like, we can't trust nobody else. So I'm selling homes in California from here. And I'm licensed here in DC, Maryland, Virginia, but I'm doing more investing. So I got some stuff that I'm investing in. And still have the cannabis dispensary. I have a
How's that going
podcast.
for you?
It's going good. I mean, it's like we do a payout. I get a payout maybe quarterly, and that last payout wasn't that great. I don't wonder what's going on, but
Now that you think about it.
now that I think about it, it wasn't as much as it normally is. So I don't know. He said it was a little slow, but I got a payout coming up this month, so that was probably the lowest payout I've gotten since I've had it. But anyway, it's been good. That and I had some commercial property that I sold out in California, so. I've been just doing some investing and stuff like that. So
Very cool.
Just like not having to work hard. My motto used to be, I don't know if you remember, it was nobody works harder than Constance Carter.
Yes,
I don't want to do that shit no more. I don't want to do it. I don't want to work hard. I've worked hard a very long time. So I am just trying to work a lot smarter these days.
So you've already told me that you've just always been happy. So I would say then maybe the divorce has probably been the thing that's really took thug life out of you and
Knocked the wind out of me.
I mean, and it made you shed a tear.
Couple of them. Yeah, a couple of them.
So share that story, because a lot of women probably haven't really experienced it from the point of view that you have.
Yeah.
It's usually the inverse.
It really is. So, I was married for a long time, like I said, and my ex-husband and I were together since I was 15. Mm-hmm. So, we kind of just assumed these roles probably from the onset of me being the one, because I always felt like I probably had the ability to make more money anyway. He worked for a little bit. He worked until we had our third son. So he worked up until probably 2006 or 2007. Then he got his real estate license, and the goal was him to join me, but he never really did. So he was just kind of a stay-at-home dad, but not in the sense where he was home watching kids. Mm-hmm. He took the kids to school. He picked them up from school. He took them to tutoring and basketball and cooked dinner. So that's what he did. And like, if I needed him, he would come and, if I'd be like, hey, can you come and put up a sign for me or something like that? But he never worked in the business. Mm-hmm. And so, there was some infidelity on his part, right? So I wouldn't say so if I look at it from my perspective, because there's always two sides. Mm-hmm. I was a dutiful wife. I probably wasn't the most, what do you call that? What do you call that when you hug people a lot? I wasn't the most affectionate mm-hmm. towards him, a little bit. But I was very affectionate towards my kids. So like, my kids would come in, I'd be like, hey, baby. And I'd be like, yo, what's up? And he probably wanted a little bit more affection. And I wasn't. I was there, I was, working. I'm the last one in. First one in, the last one out at the office. My son would call me, Mom, 10:30 at night. Can you come home? And so, I'm working. And he was a spender. Like, he was a spender. I'd be like, where is all this money going? I had no idea. And so I'm not an arguer. Remember, I told you I don't mm-hmm. do the conflict thing. So instead of me arguing, I would just be like, okay, let me just hustle a little bit harder, because I don't feel like, I don't want to do all that. It exudes too much energy to argue. But he ended up, doing his thing, and he was spending up money on things he had no business spending money on.
Right.
And so I found out, and I was like, yo, this you. That's how I felt at that time. This wasn't the first time he cheated. It wasn't the first time. But I was like, this is you. Like, I did my part. Again, I'm not the most affectionate, but I'm here, and I was taking my family on 5 to 10 vacations a year, literally. Some of them were big vacations, the Jamaica mm-hmm. and all that. Yeah. And a lot of them were like, go to Reno, or we go here, we go there. He wanted a RV. I bought him an RV. I'm stuck with that shit right now. I'm trying to sell it. Anybody who want an RV?
Anybody want an RV?
I had it drove up here in August, and now, so I'm stuck with an RV that I barely know how to drive. He wanted a boat. I bought him a boat, whatever he wanted, I was, whatever.
But let me ask you something real quick. Why do you feel like you weren't affectionate with him?
Because he would say, you know, I'm lonely, and he wasn't happy. But it wasn't me. That I feel like you don't make me happy or sad. So you need to figure out how to make your own self happy, right? Mm-hmm. And so I couldn't give him what he felt like he needed from me. But there was some internal things going on with him, like some mental things that he needed to deal with himself. I wasn't making, so maybe if I hugged him a little bit more, I don't know. But I just, you know, I wasn't raising hell. I wasn't cheating. I was speaking all over the country. When I would get off stage, you know, men definitely try to holler at me. Let's not get it twisted. But I was, you know, I was going from my stage to the room. I wasn't doing any of that stuff. Nobody could ever say, "Oh, I was with Constance." None of that. And you know how it is at some of them conferences. Right. You know, they get out there and that wasn't me. That wasn't my story. So, you know, I did my part. I feel. And I also, you know what I did? Let me tell you what I did wrong, though. I think I made him feel like he I made him feel so inclusive of everything. He really believed it. So people would be like, well, what does he do? And I'd be like, don't worry about what he do. We got, you know, this is us, right? I couldn't do what I do if he didn't do what he did. Like this is us. We in this together.
Right. I received that though.
He believed that shit. For real. So when it came time to get a divorce, he was like, I did this. And I was like, what? You ain't, I helped build this business. I helped he didn't come to a meeting. Like I would be like, hey, you know, you got a real estate license. You come to we do our yearly planning meetings, me and my staff, and come on. And can you help me with the bills? I remember Lisa Nichols told me one time, she was like, give him the responsibility of doing the bills. And I tried to do that one time. I tried to let it go, but he had no desire to do any of this stuff. So he didn't know what we had and what we didn't have. He just assumed. He didn't know when he went to the lawyer and he was like, yeah, she got millions and all this stuff. He didn't know.
He had no concept.
I made millions. I spent millions, right? Right. So I made this money, but I also spent, you know, we had some good investments. We had properties and stuff like that. But what I'm saying is our lifestyle, basically, like we just like a regular household, right? Mm-hmm. Just like a person that makes $50,000, they spending $50,000. Mm-hmm. Of course, you know, I had a little bit more than the average person with all of the other investments that I have, but it wasn't like he thought. Right.
He in there telling them like you a billionaire.
Yeah. They treated me like I was Dr. Dre. So they go online and they look and they're like, we got a big one. And they treated me as such. You know, they were trying to do forensic audits, and when we would get to court and they would just say all this stuff about me, and I'm looking at him and and I'm like, what in the world are they? You know, it would just be lies. And then afterwards I call him, because when we first separated, we were still cool. Bought him a house, paid off his car. I was giving him $5,000 a month in spousal support. We were still cool. He would come over sometimes. I would come over there. When he got the girlfriend is kind of when things changed. But I would call him and be like, yo, I don't know. That's the lawyer. That's lawyer talk. I don't know. You know, she just said whatever she say. But she's saying what you're telling her. Exactly. She ain't just saying like, so when I didn't do things right. I underestimated everything. This is what I did do wrong. I underestimated everything. And this is what because my girlfriends who got money, they used to be like, girl, maybe you should go back and then, you know, move some things around and then we try this again later. And I was like, it's because I ain't never got a divorce. Right. I was like, this is what we got. When I tell you, they asked for every single document that we've ever had since 98.
Really?
They asked for everything. And I was able to go back 6 years because I keep everything. It costs, when I tell you, tens of thousands of dollars, because it was like 40,000 documents, for my lawyer to redact every single document that I provided, every bank statement, every loan application, everything. They had to go in there and redact everything, right? They were just, you know, so I was giving them everything, and that cost me a lot of money. So I was like, shit. So him and his girlfriend had come up with a settlement.
Him and his girlfriend.
So, I was like, bet, you know, split everything 50-50. We good. I'm good with that. So I just get this. So that other lawyer, I had ran up the bill so much and we didn't get nowhere. So I knew somebody, you know, I was like, I call him a nigga named Jerome. This nigga named Jerome. had him go ahead and I was like, I just need you
You
to
had
do
to
the
pull out your
paperwork.
thug lawyer.
Yeah. I was like, just do the paperwork for me because we've already negotiated everything.
Right.
But Jerome wasn't sufficient, and I'm thinking we got everything settled and we good. But when we got in the court, it was a totally different thing. Like they was like, we want to, forensic audit cost like $10,000 an hour. Like just they wanted some stuff, and so they drug me through the mud, and we finally get through the marriage settlement agreement. And I never shared this publicly either. We finally get to the marriage settlement agreement, and I was like, okay, I'm good with everything. I just want one change. I want him to start paying his own mortgage because now I'm paying the mortgage. His girl living in the house, right? I'm paying the
Somehow
mortgage.
that don't seem right.
Right. But I was just like, I don't care what you do because the house is in my name, right? So I knew he wasn't gonna pay the mortgage. So I said, okay, I just want him to start paying his own mortgage. And so they're like, okay. So they send the document to the nigga named Jerome. He sends it to me. And they're like, go ahead and sign it. We made the change. I go, look, my bad. I didn't look at everything. I told them to make this one change. I go to, page 10 or whatever. We made the change. Well, they also made another change in there. I had my house on the market. They said, oh, we want such and such to sell the house, right? They want a whole nother person to sell the house. And I'm like, so I didn't know, right? So I'm like, okay. So I signed a document. Cool, we done. I gave him more money. I gave him money for the dispensary that he wasn't. I was giving him money for all kind of stuff I was just acquiescing.
Right.
Take
I just want
it.
my piece.
That's
right.
it. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So all of a sudden they're like, she needs to take the house off the market. And I'm like, why? Right. So I'm like, what's going on? We're doing an ex parte because she's not cooperating. I'm like, what are they talking about? The nigga named Jerome didn't know. Right. I'm like, what's going on, Jerome? He's like, I don't know. So I'm sitting there like, what? And so I call my ex-husband and I'm like, what is this thing about what's this ex parte? What is this court thing that they're trying to, what is this?
Right.
I'm trying to protect myself from what? So I have a buyer already. So you want me to have somebody else sell the house and pay them $60,000 for doing nothing? I've already done everything. We already have a buyer. We're ready to go. We have a son that's getting ready to go to college. This could be his tuition. Like, what are you doing? $60,000. And so we get into a bad argument. Now, this is an argument.
So you argued.
Oh, this one. And I threatened. So here's what I said.
So the thug life came out.
Yeah.
Okay.
I said, if we go to court and these white people say that I can't sell this house and we end up spending $60,000, I'm telling everybody everything that you've done. Everything. Next thing I know, my lawyer, I just want to call him the nigga named Jerome. My lawyer called me or texted me and he said, he's in fear for his life.
Oh,
and I'm like, okay, whatever, he should be, whatever. I didn't know what that meant. Those were triggering words. He's in fear for his life. Okay. Mm-hmm. Next thing I know, I'm packing up, me and my kids, my mom and my dad, my brother and my sister, we're packing up the pod. We made a decision to move to the East Coast. We packing up the pod.
Right.
I get served with a domestic violence restraining order. Now,
where they do that at?
Yeah. So I was like, huh? So my kids are like, Dad did this? My parents are like,
real?
And my siblings is pissed. I'm in shock. Like, and so that's where I read, you agreed to let somebody else list the house. And you won't cooperate, and then you threaten him and all this stuff. And I was like, huh? So I go back to the marriage settlement agreement. Oh my God. Which was my fault. I'm a broker.
Right.
I read contracts. I'm relying on a nigga named Jerome. He told me they just made the one change.
Right.
That's not even his responsibility. That was on me.
Got it.
So that's how I was at the end of it all. Because then we go to court. So then I'm moved. We have a hearing. And I'm like, I go there. I go to California. I'm like, they're going to throw this out because there's no domestic violence. I got 50 missed calls from you. I got 30 answered calls from you. Like, ain't no domestic violence. So he didn't show up at the hearing. But his lawyer said, and she was calling him. I seen him calling, and he wouldn't answer the phone. So she goes to the judge. Your Honor, I told him not to come because this is a much bigger case than a hearing. We need to go to trial. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. And I'm like, Judge, Your Honor, there is no domestic violence. I don't even live here. I live in Maryland now. Like, he didn't show up because he knows that there's no domestic violence. And he's like, well, that's his lawyer. That's his proctor. She said there is. So we got a hearing scheduled for February. Not a hearing, a trial. That's lawyers and depositions and all of that stuff. So I knew it wasn't going to go anywhere, but they did use that as leverage to get more from me because at that point I was exhausted. I was just like, what else do you want? Here's another $100,000. Really? I can't do this anymore. So he ended up getting twice as much money from me, from the house that I bought, I paid for. He never contributed. He didn't help me move a box, like nothing. He ended up getting twice as much as I did from the house, because I was just like, I was.
You wanted peace. It was out. Yeah.
Yeah. And I said, you know what? That's good because I could make the money back. I know how to make the money. I know how to make the money, so I was okay with that. And, I look back and I'm like, I'm kind of glad that he did get more money because now you can't look and say, oh, she had an advantage. She got this or because that's what he does now. He does that with my kids. Your mom got all the money, so, he got all this money, still got all this money. And my kids can't even get $30 for DoorDash from their dad. I mean, he doesn't pay anything. He doesn't. And so that's the reason why, even to today, they're like, Dad's a compulsive liar. They're like,
And that's hard for
the
kids to feel that way.
And the boys had an affinity towards him. They loved their dad. They still love their dad. And so my daughter has always had a contentious, since she was a teenager, they would bicker out and get involved. But they used to get on her. You leave dad alone. Now they're just like, yeah, it's all true, And it's sad because, they need a father. And
yes, especially boys. Yeah,
they do. And during Christmas break, I was with my children. And they said, Mama, you should have left a long time ago. See, look at how happy we are. And I felt bad. And I said, but you guys need a father. They were like, we didn't need that. I said, but you need the yin and the yang. You need the mask. You didn't need to be just raised by a woman. You guys are men. They're like, we are okay. But they don't know. They don't know what they need. But I also feel, because my sons will ask me, why did you stay so long? I'm like, nigga, I stayed long for y'all. I was thugging it out. Because my thing was, I got to wait until this youngest one graduated from high school. And they asked me, but it makes me feel guilty because I'm like, damn, I stayed for them, but it was more torturous for them because now they're like, I remember when we first separated and I asked my oldest son, how you feel? And he said, I'm just happy I ain't got to worry about what I'm gonna get yelled at about all the time, right? So it didn't really resonate with me until now. Like that was really traumatic. All they heard was, the verbal stuff all the time. And I'm not knowing because I'm at work. I'm not knowing all the stuff that they're going through. One time I overheard my ex talking to my middle son and he's going off, just talking bad about me. And like, no, she talks about me. And my son's like, Dad, Mom doesn't talk about you. Well, she's the manipulator. She's the master over all this stuff, right? And so he gets off the phone. Now, I'm speaking all over the country like, oh, design the life that you always wanted. I'm with my king of high school, right? This is what I'm talking about. And so I'm like, dang, son, I'm so sorry that you had to hear that. He said, Dad's always talked about like that about you. And I'm like, not like that. He's like, no, like that. I'm like, he talked like that about me? And he's like, yeah. And I'm out here grinding, working.
Giving him everything he wants.
Giving him everything he wants. And he's talking like this about me to my children. Yeah.
So you said you've never been unhappy. But when was it that you felt like, I'm just in this for the kids? Like, when did that bell go off for you?
I would say probably when I met you. Okay. 2018. Maybe even before that, because, my kids will say, you know, Mom, there were so many red flags. He ain't like your family. He was, you know. So I don't know. There was just so many things, but probably like I remember just being like, I remember one year, I think it was 2019. We went on vacation, me and my kids. It was my first time because he's gone. He's done things with the kids because I funded it. Like, hey, take the kids to Disney World, take them to wherever. So I went on vacation for the first time with just me and my kids, and they were like, look at how great it is, and look at how like how peaceful, right? It's first time I was just like, y'all be. So I remember my daughter saying this. She was like, it was 2019, so she was like, I'm in the bathroom, and she's like, you got 4 years to be with Dad, and you got 2 years to be with Dad, and you got 6 years to be with Dad, and I'm in the bathroom thinking, and I got 6 years to be with Dad too, right? I'm counting down the days too, because with that youngest one, so yeah. Yeah, probably around then I was just, you just kind of going through, I looked at marriage as covenant, contract. It's something between you and God. Like I made this decision when I was 6 to marry this man. And so I just got to thug this shit out until I die. Right? So there was that, right? Like, this is what you did. You didn't know you didn't know what you were doing when you did it, but now you got to live the rest of your life with it. And that's kind of how I felt about that. But, he gave me an out when he cheated again.
He cheated twice. And
that I know.
That you're clear on.
Maybe 3 times that I know. Yeah.
And you just kind of work.
We had kids. So I used to think, I was of the mind that nobody's going to love my kids the way their dad is. And, he's taking care of the kids. And, so, it was certain things that, that chipped away. Like, that kind of made me numb. I remember one time this guy had got into it with this guy online, and I was telling him about it. I was traveling from something with Lisa, and then I was going to another speaking engagement, and I was telling him, this guy said some crazy stuff to me, and he said, I ain't about to fight that big man, that big dude or something like that. And I didn't ask him to fight him. I'm just telling him that this guy was very disrespectful towards me, but that right there did something to me. When he said, it's like, dang, I ain't got no financial security. I ain't got no protection. Like, these are the things that you need from a man. You need love. Women want love. We want financial security, and we want to feel protected. And I didn't feel like that. I was like, dang, I ain't got no protection. Like, I'm out here in these streets by myself. Yeah. So I was just like, sheesh. So, that right there, it turned me totally off. I think that was like 2018, 2018 when that happened. Maybe 2017, but that was just like, ugh. So, it's just little things, over the years, things chip away, and you just kind of, you going through the motions. Now, I got these kids. I love these kids. And so then I would say he just became like a player in my life. Okay. Like he was just like a character in a movie. He did what we needed to happen. And that was kind of that, So, yeah, he just had some self-esteem issues, and I think he just had some worthiness issues, and those are things that I felt, empathetically. I wanted, even when he moved out, I felt responsible for him. And I remember we had a session with our pastor, and the pastor heard us both, and he said a woman shouldn't be taking care of a man. She shouldn't have to take care of her household and your household, because he didn't want to work. He said, but also, Constance, you did this. He was like, you created this monster. He said it in front of both of us. You spoiled him. You created this where he feels entitled. And so I was like, I take responsibility. I didn't require much of him. The only thing I required was take care of the kids. And one thing my middle son said to me, he said, Mom, he said, you made Dad's fatherhood. And I was like, what does that mean? And my other son said, because when he didn't have to be a father, he's not. He was only a father because you made him be a father to us. And my daughter said, about 2 months ago, I would have rather never had a father in my life.
Wow, that's tough.
Than to have had a father and not have any relationship with him now. And I was like, because she calls him, she reaches out, but it's always very contentious. And so those things, like there's a guy on TikTok. He's called Your Favorite Dad.
Really?
And he just encourages kids, like, I love you, son. And two of my boys told me it separately that made them cry, because that's the only thing that they long for from their father. So I feel bad because I'm like, I did this. This is my fault. This is who I chose. This is what I did. And all this time I'm trying to create this great life for these kids. Mm-hmm. And that's not. Last week I was at a business meeting. I had my daughter with me, right? Mm-hmm. And so we were doing a icebreaker, and icebreaker was, what was a time that you felt like happy? And I was like, oh, I recall a time when, I was married and we were driving over the Bay Bridge and we were listening to jazz, and the kids were in the back and they were watching TV and they had the headphones on, and it was just, for me, it was like, and my daughter was like, that wasn't my experience. I was like,
and they're blatantly honest,
right? That wasn't fun. That wasn't. I was like, damn. So I feel right. That was a moment for me. But I feel bad now that I look back, because I was so ambitious and I tried so hard to create this life for these children and this family. And, to hear now, because I'm hearing now, mm-hmm. like some of the ways that they felt and some of the things that they had been through. And it makes me sad. It does.
But now, so.
Now I know, yeah. They damn near grown now. So I'm like, when y'all leaving, y'all got to go. No, what I do tell them, though, is, whatever we did wrong, because I can't say that I'm perfect, right? Whatever we did wrong, just make sure you do better. That's the only thing I tell them. Mm-hmm. Just make sure. And that was what I was trying to do, right? With the deficiencies I had as a child.
I receive it. We
never ate dinner at the table as a family, right? So I made sure we ate dinner at the dinner table. We never went on vacation. So I made sure that, we went on vacations. Me and my parents and my siblings never rode in the car together. So I made sure that we had those moments where we rode in the car together. Like, I wanted to create those memories of things that I missed out as a child. But I overlooked so many other things in the process.
All these little things, intangible things
Yeah. So, but, it's such as life, Now we get to kind of redo things and we have a good time. And, I check in. But, I've always tried to, I know I didn't have the quantity of time, but I always tried to have quality time with my kids. And, we would do these exercises, with each other when they were smaller, and we still do them from time to time. They hate it. I make them sit down and say what they love about each other. Mm-hmm. You tell everybody in this room what you love about that person. And so, they would, it would make their heart smile. Now they'd be like, you act like a white mom. I'm like, we've been doing this since y'all was little. Tell each other. They don't want to do it. They too hard now. But
they thugs.
Yeah, they thugs. They thugs like they mama. But, I still, try to make them do it. Or, we just did it probably back in August before my son went away to college. Mm-hmm. And then we did a little group hug. But I wanted to whoop them because it was like herding cats. I wanted to beat their behinds because they would not cooperate like they did when they was little.
Right.
It took a lot, but then they finally came out and, but yeah. So I try to do those things. They don't appreciate it now, but they will. They will. They absolutely will.
So how's the market treating you now that you're a single woman out here in these streets?
Woo! You know what? That's a good question. That's a good question. So, I have been separated since 2020 mm-hmm. into 2019. So, I was kind of dealing with that. So I kind of, dabbled a very little, but I never, I never took nobody serious. And I would tell them straight up, look, I ain't ish. You don't want me. If you trying to get married, I ain't the one. This ain't what you want, homie. And I had one dude like, look, you ain't dating with a purpose, so we might as well not even talk. And I'm like, we homies now. What are you doing? He was like, girl, you crazy. So we good friends now. So I never really took anybody serious. And then then I kind of, dated. And then when I first moved out here, so The quality of men out here is way better. That's another reason why I like
Really?
it. Girl,
Okay.
ain't nothing in California. Nothing.
Nothing.
Yes. Like, no. I remember I was on a dating app out there, and I would, like, the guys would look like E40. Like, you 50. Why do you have your pants sagging and a long t-shirt on? I don't know. Right? So quality of men is way better. I was doing like, I said this loose, and my girl had to correct me. I was doing 3 dates a day. But my girl was like, you did 1-3 a day. Like, don't act like you was just out in the streets like that. My girl was like, you did 1-3. Don't do that. so I've done, but I've been out and nobody had really piqued my interest. But it was me. Like, I just, very nice looking, established, but I just didn't like anybody. And so I think last year I said, you know what? Put it on pause, because I would be like, yeah, I want somebody. No, I don't want to be bothered. Yeah, I do. No, I don't. So last year being my full year of really being single, because the divorce was final the end of 22. The settlement wasn't final until this month last year. So I think the 26th is when I signed my last document.
Got it.
So I was like, you know what? Let me chill out for a minute. Let me focus on business, and so went out with a few people, but nothing serious. And I said, okay, I'm gonna just cleanse men's, and then I'll be serious. I'll be intentional in 2024. So that's where I'm at. I'm hanging out. So I'm open to a relationship. But to be honest, I've only had one in my life.
I got that.
That's crazy, right?
I got that. Yeah. Yeah.
So I overthink that a lot. I got kids. How am I going to introduce them to the kids? Like, what am I going to, how's that going to work? How am I going to, all that. Because the way he introduced his woman, he was like, this is what he told my middle son. When my middle son went over there, he said, me and your mama ain't getting back together, right? He was like, yeah. Well, I got a friend. She at the house. So he was like, okay. He said he goes over there. He said he goes, and he's like, and he introduces them. She's like, and so he leaves for work the next day, and he's there. This woman's there. He's like, Mom, it was so awkward. I needed the iron. It was in his room. She was in the room. So I went to school with wrinkled clothes on. There was no formal introduction to my children. And I think about all that, how do I introduce, and how's this going to work? And girl, just calm down and go with the flow. But I don't, so all these things have crossed my mind, but I haven't found anybody who've piqued my interest enough to do anything with. But everybody's been cool. They've been really nice. It's me. I haven't found that person that I really jive with.
Do you think you'll know it when you?
I think so. I hope so, because I don't know what that's like. Right. So
that's why I asked. Who you think you?
I don't know. Maybe I overthink the process. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. But you know what? I love, and I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. But I'm having a good time.
Because you out here in these streets.
Real heavy. Real heavy.
I received that.
I went on a lot of dates, but it's just been me. Yeah, I'm quick to block somebody.
Not the block.
Yeah.
Just the block, for real?
Yeah. It's some weirdos out there. Yeah, it's some weirdos. And another thing I do is I'll be like, all right, I'm gonna go dark for a minute, so don't call me I'll be back online in 3 months. I'll do that. So I will say that. I'll let them know, hey, I'm gonna go dark for a minute, so I'll hit you in 3 months. And one guy was like, well, wait a minute. So he kept calling, kept texting, and so I blocked him. So then he starts DMing me on Facebook. So I block him on Facebook. So then he goes on Instagram. He finds me on Instagram. I can't believe you blocked me on. I'm sorry. So I block him on Instagram. 6 months later, I'm on WhatsApp for some reason. I can't remember why. Hey, Constance. A whole different. I'm like, who is this? This is. Man found me on WhatsApp. I said, oh, shit. This is crazy. I had to get one of my friends be like, yo, leave her alone. Right? So me being single, don't invite nobody to my house. Right. So nobody knows where I live and all that stuff. That's kind of the scary thing. But I'm enjoying.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm having a good time.
Okay. I want to talk about, was there anything, as the baby picture we had up earlier, is there anything that you would tell baby Constance now?
Wait to get married. What I used to tell my kids that a long time ago, don't do like mommy and daddy. We cool, but wait. No, my only regret in life is that I didn't go away to an HBCU. And that used to always be my thing. Like, my life is good, everything's cool. My biggest regret was I didn't go away to HBCU. I got a PhD, a public high school diploma. So I didn't go away to college.
Right.
So I made sure all of my kids did. So all of my kids, 2 of my kids went to Hampton. My middle son, he probably won't get accepted to Hampton because he didn't do that great. But he will go to an HBCU. And that little one, not little one, he the tallest one. I pray that he goes to an HBCU. He's doing well, honor student and all that, but he just don't talk a whole lot. Okay. But I pray that they do. But now they're like, well, we out here with all these black kids. Well, we need to go to HBCU. Now we got the experience, mama. We don't need it.
What HBC you wish you would have gone to?
Probably Hampton.
Okay.
I liked Hampton. Yeah, I probably,
okay.
Yeah.
All right, I thought you were going to say Howard. Okay. They both HUs.
Right? Yeah. I never had a desire to go to Howard, but I always liked Hampton.
Okay. Mm-hmm. What do you like about Hampton? The area?
Yeah, I like the area. It's on the water. Mm-hmm. So, and I like it for my kids because, especially when my daughter was here and me sending her 3,000 miles away all the way to Hampton is very secure. It's private security. First 3 months, they had a curfew, on Howard. Like, anything goes.
Live, right?
Yeah, right. Anybody coming on campus, they don't play that at Hampton. Like, so for me having a daughter that I'm sending away that far, it was very important for me to have that security. She hated it, of course. That security. We can't do anything. We don't, and
right.
And they're very strict in terms of the way they conduct themselves. The way they dress. You can't be walking around no sweats and hoodies. You have to be dressed all the time. So I appreciated that.
Yeah, that's a good look.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
What's prosperity for you now in your life moving forward? What would be the ideal prosperous life for Candace?
Constance,
all
good.
Everybody about me.
Everybody calls me Candace. No worries. Prosperity is how I live right now. With that freedom to be able to get up and do what I want to do when I want to do it, and then to be able to have my children, and eventually to have a partner. Because that is definitely a desire of mine. I long for that. I do want to have somebody at this point, like somebody that I just have fun with. Like tonight, I'm going to a concert, right? And the artist that I'm going to go see, Kendrick the Family Soul, I know them, right? So I was just going to go by myself, and I got nosebleed seats. I was like, "Yo, see y'all, I'll be in the nosebleeds," because I got my ticket hecka late. And he was like, "I ain't gonna have you in the nosebleeds, girl. I got a ticket for you and a guest to come, sit in the front." Now I'm trying to think, well, who am I going to take with me? Just stuff like that. Like, right. I want to have somebody that
you could just call, "Hey, boo, we're going to go."
Yeah, right? Go on vacations, just get up and go. And so people always ask me, well, does a guy have to be rich? No, they just have to have the ability to go. Let's go. Let's go to, my girl in December, she was like, "Yo, you want to go to Turks and Caicos with me next week?" Bet, let's go.
Right.
Have that kind of ability. That doesn't require you to have millions, but you have to have done stability. Pretty well. Yeah, that's stability. Yeah. And I figure at this age, my kids get my shit anyway. Your kids gonna get your shit. Right. So we come together like I don't need your money. I don't need to build with you. I don't need anything from you. And, we could just have a good time. That's how I think. I don't know what's going to happen, but in my mind, it's all set up.
Let's just have a good time.
Right, that's it.
Travel the world together.
Boom. That's it. Let's have a good time. I don't want to get married again because you work hard. You work so hard for something, and the powers that be could tell you what you got to do with it. Mm-hmm. That shit sucked majorly. You can tell me all this stuff I did and all these. And it was crazy because I remember when he was like, I won't have this and I want this. And it's one of the reasons why I had to kind of change my business. But I remember, I have this building, this commercial building, and I was like, this is for the kids. It's in the trust for the kids, And he was like, no, I want you to sell it.
He was like, no.
Yeah, he was like, I want you to sell it. And I was like, but this is for the kids. It's their legacy. We ain't dying. What they need it for? And I'm like, did you not just lay in the bed with me for 30 years? This is what I preach. Generational wealth. This is things that I set up for the kids. So, I have some other things that I had set up. I've set up for the kids, like the cannabis dispensary. I have, the funds go to a trust that, it's for the children. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, I just want somebody with the same mindset, and we ain't got to do nothing together in terms of like building together. We ain't got to put our resources together. So getting married again and having the government tell me what I could do with my money is not the business. That's not where I want to go. But we could be life partners and make a commitment to one another.
Suppose he's like really perfect and he just wants to get married, like to finally put the oh, really? Okay.
Sheesh.
I'm saying,
that's a very scary thing to do.
It's scary at this point.
Yes.
It might be beautiful it would be beautiful with the right person, right?
Why do I got to get married for that?
Why not?
What's the purpose? So the government can tell you what to do? Like, okay, so what's the purpose of getting married? At this age?
At this age, I don't know.
No, come on.
I'm thinking about it. I'm going to tell you a couple of things. Okay. I'm trying to be...
Because, I can see when you're young and you're building together and you're growing together and all that stuff, but I'm damn near 50. I'm 40. I'll be 48 this month. And I really don't see the benefit.
There's a benefit.
Okay, tell me.
The benefit is that simple things. As you get older, mm-hmm. right? Mm-hmm. And if you're not married mm-hmm. and your spouse gets sick, mm-hmm. you really don't have any rights.
So, my dad, a few years ago, my dad was like, he wanted to take over this church. He's a minister. He wanted to take over this church. And I was like, no way. Right. So I gather up my sister and my brother and his wife. And I'm like, yo, Dad don't need to be doing this. He too old. He retired. That's too much. No, absolutely not. I asked his wife, I said, what do you think? She said, this is on y'all. My level of respect went up. She said, because if something happened to me, my kids come to get me. She was like, so I ain't got nothing to say. I was like, yo, I love you, Francis. Because she's like, if something happened to me, my kids coming. Y'all gonna take care of y'all dad. Like, so I figure something happened to me, I got 4 kids. So hopefully he has kids that'll take care too.
Okay. I thought maybe that would really get in there, but I was clearly...
Listen, Francis taught me a lesson. I was like, yo, Francis, you know what? You're right. Let me go ahead and set up that living trust to make sure that everything comes to us. So I did.
No, so, okay, well... I'm going to get back to you.
No, come on. Let's talk about it, because I need to know. Because somebody said that, Dr. Emma Fraser, she said, don't ever say that you don't want to get married because you might. And I'm like, okay, tell me why. But nobody can tell me why.
Well, I really think that, to take that vow again in front of God, okay. Especially with all the lessons that you've learned, especially who you're evolving to be, that it can be much different than what you've experienced. Sure. And as the pastor told you, you had a lot to do with the bullshit he became.
Right.
Now you're talking about a whole different type of man.
Yeah.
Person that's going to be very stand on their own feet, know who they are, don't have any self-worth issues, is very clear and ready to come and join with you so that together you guys can grow. Because you never stop growing until you die. So at the end of the day, together you guys will grow and evolve.
And I just can't live without this person. Like,
it's not even a matter of living without the person. It's a matter of really having a soul-mate connection.
Yeah.
To really, they get you and you get them.
Yeah, that would be dope. I've never had that before, so I don't know.
She's going,
that would be dope. Yeah, that would be dope. Like, what is that? You know what people used to say? People used to say, go back to the place when you were first in love. And I'm like, well, what does that mean? Because, we were kids.
Right.
So I'm like, that was just probably infatuation. I don't know what this whole in love thing is, or what is that? Like, this is, commitment. That's how I looked at it. It wasn't about it wasn't even about compatibility. It was more about commitment. That's what I signed up for. So I don't know what that looks like. I don't know what that kind of companion would be. I long for it, yeah. But I have never even experienced that before to even say that this is something that I know it's possible, but I just haven't had that experience.
So if you had that, is it worth looking at getting married?
It would have to be really.
Suppose for him it's like, I want you to be my woman. I want to know.
But what if
that
in
you're
6
my
months or a year or it doesn't work out?
Well, no, so I would hope that you're not getting married after meeting him in 6 months.
No, I'm saying, what if like you, okay.
Oh, you mean after you got married?
Yeah, what if like you decide, yeah, this ain't it?
I would think that those things have happened before you tied a knot. There will be things that force you to grow together and understand each other. I would think that you would really understand what triggers each other, what
Yeah.
makes each other tick, and know how to walk through that. And once you walk through a couple things, even on the other side, you just continue to walk through it as you did before.
I'm all about commitment and compromise and all of those things that come along with marriage, because I know that that's important. But that smoke, that fire still on my ass. That smoke is just, that soot is just, you know what I mean? Like, your girl just got her freedom. I just got released. You know what I'm saying?
I received that.
30 years.
And I'm not saying even do it like, I'm just saying don't close your mind to
yeah,
it.
okay,
Don't close your mind to it. Don't say, we can be.
Never say never.
Right.
Okay, never say never.
Never say
I'm
never.
willing to never say never.
Very cool.
Yeah, because you just don't know.
You
But
don't.
I just don't see a world where it can happen. Now, let me stop. Let me not say that. I don't want to even put that energy out
What
there.
do you mean you don't see a word?
No.
Okay.
I'm going to receive what you're saying.
Okay.
And I'm going to be open because I don't want to close off any blessing that God may have for me.
Exactly.
Right. So let me stop right now, because I do desire to have a meaningful relationship with a man. I definitely desire that. That's really important. So, yeah,
And I think your kids will welcome that for you. They
Yeah.
want to see their mother happy.
One of my kids said, I would like for you to find a man, Mom, so I can have a father figure. That messed me up too. So, yeah, that's what they said. That's what they say. One of them said that. One of them was like, nah, Mom, you good. My oldest spoiled son. You know, he think he my man.
You know they always do.
Right,
the oldest one.
right. He like, no. And then one of them is like, all right, whatever, I don't care. And then one of them's like, okay, cool, just don't bring him around here. Like, that's all, you know. My daughter's like, yeah, no, I want you to, you know. I'm like, yo, big old grown self don't need no father. But she's like, no, I would like that.
Oh, she's reaching out to her own dad,
Yeah.
so she clearly.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, they all have different. So I again, those are the things that I overly think about, you know, because I don't know. It's like, that's all like foreign to me. They've never met anybody. I've had people that I've, you know, dated or whatever, but they've never met anybody.
So I'm curious to know, in your 30 years of marriage,
Mm-hmm.
and nobody else will know, okay? In your 30 years of marriage, there was nobody else that piqued your interest.
You know what? Let me tell you. No. I had somebody like after, like, you know, when we were separated, and, you know, I liked him. But I will say it's been sort of hard for me because being married for so long, you try not to, so it's hard for me to meet people because the moment a man makes eye contact, I look away, right? Because you don't want to engage men. I've been so used to doing that for so
Yes, I
long.
got you. Mm-hmm.
That's been kind of tough, right? So my girl be like, girl, you got to give him the 3-second look. You got to do like this. She says, you got to do like this. I'm going to do this to camera. You got to do like this. And then do like this. And then do like this. Right? So I tried it. But then I feel like a stalker, right? So I was like, yeah,
You feel like a stalker?
this doesn't quite work for me. I don't know how to do this. So she's like, no, girl, you gotta, you know, so I don't even know how to really flirt. Cause I've been married. I've been somebody's wife for so long that, you know, but I had one person that I liked. I really enjoyed hanging out with, and that didn't work out. So
It didn't work out because
just didn't work out.
okay.
Just didn't work out.
I want to thank you
I appreciate it.
for coming. I've enjoyed this
This has
thoroughly.
been so fun and cathartic. And I've probably said a little bit too much.
No, it's
More than I
okay.
said to anybody. So yeah, a lot of people don't know most of the stuff. I mean, my parents didn't know we were separated until 8 months. We were separated for 8 months. So they would come over and I'd be like, yo, come over real quick. Act like you know. And
Really?
then my uncle saw him coming out of somebody's apartment and was like, what you doing over here? And he was like, oh, you didn't know we ain't together? You know, he told on himself because he somewhere he went.
Right. Right.
So my family was like, what? So then probably I told it on like social media maybe 2 years after we separated. So, you know, I didn't let, you know, now I'd be like, yeah, I'm out here in these dating streets, you know, so I haven't really shared with how I've shared with you. So I appreciate you giving me the space and making it a safe space for me to be able to share in the way that
I appreciate you coming. I'm so happy
Thank
we
you
had
so
this time
much. Me
together.
too. This has been awesome.
Yes. So thank you. I told you she was a beast. Didn't I tell you she was a beast? Absolutely. So what will be your journey to purpose, passion, and prosperity?
Girl, you're amazing. I appreciate you. This was so fun.
Good.
And you look so beautiful.
Oh, thank you. So do you.
Golly. I'm loving that hair.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, it's been awesome. Thank you.
Good.
Anything
good.
you need from me?
No, I do need. I'm going to need some stuff from you. Oh, what we didn't do.
Thank you so much. Oh,
But
what we need to do?
we're supposed to give the audience like a free consultation or something with you.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I totally forgot to ask that. And when it all comes out, I'm gonna send you a list of things that I need. But when
Okay.
it all comes out, I just need you to like post it on your social media, send it to your email list exactly. So you know, to your tribe of people, so they know that it's coming out.
All right.
And
Bet.
it's not going to come out to March 15th,
Okay.
and we're going to drop 2 women a day all the way through the end of March for Women's Month.
That should be fun.
So definitely, I'm going to start promoting on March 1st,
Okay.
and we'll go from there.
All right. So just shoot me a text or email.
Should we really take a cut in so that we can really talk about what she's going to do in terms of what she's going to give to the audience? And so she's got the whole Net 7 thing, so it'd be really cool for people to hear, you know.
Okay.
We talked about it, but not for you to be able to. Okay.
So I can do like a coaching. We could do a one-on-one coaching call.
Okay.
How many do you want me to do?
No, well, it's what it is. Or do you have like a digital product that you can just
I
give
do.
away?
I do.
You know what I mean? That way, because we don't know how many people's going to hit. That
All right,
could be
bet.
exhausting.
So okay, cool. So I can do one of my courses. They could choose one. I have courses, a real estate course. I have a business course on setting up your entity. I have all types of courses. So I
Okay.
have the Grow Your Money Club, which is a membership, a monthly membership.
Okay.
The courses range from a couple $100s to a few $1,000s.
Okay.
So they could pick one of the courses from the Grow Your Money Club, and
Okay.
they could have that in perpetuity.
Perfect. So that's what we'll do, Sam. What I'm going to do. Just let me know when I can start. I forgot, ladies and gentlemen, Constance has a great offer with Grow Your Money. That sounds like Jim. Grow Your Money.
It is.
Okay? And she has an offer for you that she will offer to you. There's a free digital product. We'll have a link that you can go to it. You can learn about her whole Net 7 program and all the things she's doing to empower women and make them wealthy going forward in their lives. So thank you again. I'll look for the link. It's going to be awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
And she's a battle rapper.
Huh?
Oh yeah, I be rapping too.
You a battle rapper?
No, I'm not.